the secret behind this big achievement?
Well, it's an outcome of planning. We plan well for this particular activity. All of us know elections come up once in every 5 years. So the moment the date was announced, all of us together in the security sector, it's not only the police, I would like to refer to the sector comprising the military, ONS, correctional service, fire force, all of that, working together, CISA. We planned for it, and then of course we worked with other agencies, election management bodies, all of us coming together, planning and coordinating the efforts. That is what led to the outcome, which is now being applauded all over the world and across the country also.
I believe today, Wednesday, 26 July, marks your 1 year in office. How has it been for you?
Well, I want to thank God first of all that I've been in office for 1 year, but I started my tenure on a rough ground, especially looking at events of August 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, but to me, that particular moment, it proved two things. It was a test of my ability to work with my colleagues in the Sierra Leone Police Force and also to work with other partners in the security sector. No matter what happened at that time, we were able to overcome that one. And the other advantage about those events was that it gave us a picture of the threat looking as we move forward to the elections, because that one gave us a clear picture of what we are going to expect as we are approaching elections. So that was how it happened. But moving forward after August 10, it has been well as far as I'm concerned, and even I think members of the Republic can attest to the fact that it has been well after August 10. We made a lot of adjustments. We made a lot of, we dropped a lot of activities which helped to improve the general security situation, which is now very quiet and calm.
Okay, what can you say are your successes since your assumption to the office of Inspector General?
Well, when I assumed the office of Inspector General, I did a SWOT analysis of the organization. I identified certain needs which have to be met. Basically, I can say I looked at training as a key component as what was actually happening, because I saw a gap in the knowledge of our personnel. You know, recently in 2021, we did massive promotions and people were promoted into the ranks. That promotion was not followed by corresponding trainings for them to fit into the ranks. So I saw that gap. So therefore, one of the key priorities of my activities was to work on training packages. And working with our development partners and government support, we were able to drop lots of trainings in investigations, family support, public order management, especially when we are now approaching elections. So we dropped a lot of election security trainings. All of that one was geared towards the outcome of the elections. Having looked at training, I also looked at innovation, because we have been able to move the organization to go a little to use technology. One of the first things I did was I made sure, for example, in the Western area, all our patrol vehicles are installed GPS in all of those patrols. That is why you can see that the response time for the Sierra Leone police to incidents has gradually improved, because every vehicle is on GPS. It can be located at any time, anywhere, and it's also connected by way of telephone. So if something's happening at Berry Street, it can be reported to the control room, and then the nearest patrol vehicle can be alerted to respond to that particular incident. That's the second thing I did in innovation. Then I also built on the existing National Joint Operations Center to an extent. The 6 administrative police regions are now connected by way of technology, so that something happening in Kenema is reported directly to Freetown. We have the center at Moriton, where every report is collated in the morning. By 7:30 it's on my desk, and it's on the desk of the operations officer also. So we've done that. And of course we have a monitoring room at police headquarters, where we have CCTV cameras. We've placed them in strategic locations across the city. So that will help us to see exactly what is happening at any point in time, where those cameras are. Then of course, in the area of cyber crime, we have the second best cyber investigations unit in Africa after South Africa, the one we have now at police headquarters. So we are able to actually use technology to help us in the fight against crime and the fear of crime. Then, of course, I looked also at infrastructure, where we have lots of unfinished projects when I came in, so I paid attention to those ones, and I was able to deliver on most of the projects which were unfinished, including accommodation for our personnel. Then, of course, welfare stands out very clearly. When I came in, I met some challenges with respect to welfare, including like medical attention for our personnel, their rice supplies, and even the living conditions for our people in the barracks. So I made some interventions alongside with my wife. We were able to, for example, do like 6 boreholes in 6 barracks. That actually eased the problem on our wives. They no longer have to struggle to go across long distances to fetch water, and that improved the time our people can come to work. Those issues of rice supply, there was a backlog of 7 months. That one was cleared. And of course, we also looked at security is about communication and transportation. Some of these things I'm mentioning, they are not my personal things. They are a product of government intervention. If you look at our strategic development plan, we have 5 strategic objectives. 3 of those ones which enhance our performance are actually delivered by government. So, but the point is, I stayed focused on those ones which we can deliver as an institution, and then where government has to intervene, I pursued that one thoroughly, and government intervened, and we were able to deliver on those ones. We received, for example, before the elections, when I came in, actually we had a challenge of mobility, but with government intervention and my pursuit, we've been able to work on that one. We've been able to overcome the issue of transportation. For now, we can say all our 36 police divisions can boast of a roadworthy vehicle. That is what helped to what we did for the just concluded elections. Then, of course, we have just received like 3 fiber boats to facilitate our operations in the riverine areas. Then, of course, we have also set up our radio station, which will give us access to the wider community. We have a radio station running on FM 91.1. It is based at Kingdom. We've just launched that one. So all of those things I did so that it will improve the service delivery of our personnel, because service delivery, effective service delivery, is an outcome of all of those things put together. So that's how we've gotten so far.
Just in 1 year, all these successes. Let's talk about some of the challenges. What have been your challenges, or what challenges do you face as an organization in discharge of your responsibilities?
Well, the greatest challenge is the lack of cooperation from members of the public. Those ones we deal with. We are here to maintain, we are law enforcement people, but sometimes you have issues. You have issues when you are actually trying to enforce law and order. It becomes a problem. We don't get the cooperation of the people readily. That is one big challenge we are facing. Even when, in 1999, when the British-born Kitsbido was restructuring the Sierra Leone police, he introduced one component they call community policing. That one is a social contract between the police and members of the community for them to work alongside the police to fight crime and the fear of crime. We are aware of the fact that we are not everywhere all the time, so that's why we say let us enter into this kind of relationship with the people. But along the line, we see this tend to break away from the relationship, because some of them, they have their own motives for coming close to the police, and not all of us can bow to that one. So we see them moving away from that particular principle, but it's there. That's one challenge. And of course, the most recent challenge we are now facing is this social media landscape. We are having challenges because each and every time, despite the fact that government has gone a step ahead to pass the Cybersecurity Act, and those laws are there, but we still have problems with people originating hate speeches, divisive messages, insulting messages about people. The challenge with that one is directly related to the mobile network operators. The problem with that is they are selling activated SIM cards. So if somebody is buying an activated SIM card in the streets and he's using that one to cause trouble, there's no way you can trace that one, because the SIM is not registered in his name or her name. But we've started to work with NACRA and NATCOM so that we can bridge that gap. Those SIM cards which are sold activated, they are used by fraudsters to defraud people. And each time those reports come to us, we have the call logs generated, but what is key is to know the person who is using the particular number. When you know that one, if you have that information, then you can of course track. But like I said, I made mention of the cyber investigation unit at headquarters. Like I said, it's the second to South Africa in Africa. Through that particular investigation unit, we've been able to track many people who are using those SIM cards to actually cause trouble. We have a system. Even though the card is not registered with any mobile operator, we insert the number in the system and we track it. As long as it is on, we will know the location because it tells us the site location of the user of that particular number. So that's how we have been able to overcome that challenge. So basically, those are the two major challenges we face in policing: cooperation from the public, and then this new thing that has emerged, which is being abused by some ill-motivated people.
Finally, from my side, what will you say about the issue of lawlessness in the country, given the fact that the police itself sometimes come under attack?
Well, it is sad. It is sad. But on the whole, sometimes people tend to misconstrue the facts when they talk about lawlessness. They think everything rests on the shoulders of the police. No, you know, the police. Yes, we have our own role to play, but sometimes what they want to blame us for is when one ministry, one department or agency is failing to discharge on their own core mandate, then it becomes a problem for us. For example, like removing corpses from the street, that's not policing. It's not our job. It's the job of council. Moving traders away from the streets, it's not our job as police. It's a job of council. Even if you go to, for example, to Guma Valley, Mile 13, recently there was this drive to remove people who have started constructing residences on those hill slopes. All of those people, if you talk to them, they have documents, and those documents are issued to them by the ministry. So if the ministry have gone that far, then it now comes back to us, say police, you have to go and make sure that person does not continue or nobody builds on that particular slope above the particular green belt. It's an issue, but to look at lawlessness, you know, all of us have a responsibility. We are lucky in the security sector. We are the only sector which has been through reforms. And because we have been through reforms, we find ourselves falling back to do jobs which are not within our own purview. So that's why most people tend to say, because then the sell market that we are selling in the street is police. It's not police. If you go to Abacha Street right now, you want to move them out of the streets, you will find yourself in running battles with the mayor, for example. She will say, no, for them it's about the money, for us it's about the security.
Now, earlier you mentioned the misuse of social media as a major challenge to our democracy. Now, in the area of misinformation, disinformation, and hate speech, what are some of the plans that the force is putting in place to tackle this challenge?
Well, in the first place, we have also decided to occupy that media space. We have set up a strategic communication unit, which is integrated. Integrated simply implies it involves ONS, the House LAF, and correctional services. All of us in the security sector, we have set up a strategic communication unit. We are also going to occupy that landscape. And occupying the landscape, we are also going to use or need the input from bloggers, people who can, well-meaning people who can look at information on social media and recognize the fact that it is not correct, it is fake, and then they can counter it. We are doing that one. And secondly, we are going to enforce the cyber security laws. The laws are there, it's clear. Even when you forward fake message or hate speech, you are criminally culpable. So that's what we are going to do, and then we are going to engage, community engagement. We are going to engage the community for them to know that yes, spreading fake information in social media or even creating it is not nice. So those things we are going to do: enforce the laws, occupy the space, which we are going to the space, and then of course then we engage people for them to know that you cannot do this. That's why most times you see our community relations department in the streets with public megaphones disseminating different messages at different times to the communities.
Now, under your tenure as IG, do you think the police have lived up to its expectation of civilians to protecting lives and properties and maintaining law and order?
Yes, we have. I can say confidently that we have, because it's been a long time, for example, we have not recorded like armed robberies, because crime actually is a social phenomenon. As long as people live, people exist, people stay in the community, crime is always there. But the fact that we've been able to control the rate at which crime is being committed, it means we've been able to live up to our core functions. We've been able to protect people and their property. We've seen that severally.
And do you believe that the police sometimes contributes to disorder in society, allegedly by taking bribes from Rapper drivers and also car riders?
Well, that's an allegation, and for us in law, who alleges has to prove. It depends on who we are talking to. But for us, we are maybe the only institution in this country which has a disciplinary regulation which was passed in Parliament, and we can take tough actions against our people. So for us, what we want from the public is not just to make such huge claims or allegations against our people. We want them to come forward with the evidence. If you have the evidence, in our regulation, everything that you do which is an infringement has an attendant punishment. And for those cases, we'll dismiss people where we have the evidence, where we prove in our own discipline court. Our court is different from the normal court. It's not for you to prove beyond reasonable doubt, but it's just a balance of probability. So if it is very probable that yes, you collected bribe, yeah, we will dismiss. We've charged several of our colleagues. They've taken them to the ACC. They've dismissed them. Some have even been to jail. We've dismissed our colleagues. We don't condone improper practice within the rank and file of the organization, but it keeps coming. So we will appeal to the public. If you have sufficient evidence to substantiate the claim that yes, this officer collected a bribe, bring it to our attention and watch to see what appropriate action we can take as an institution.
There is this perception that the police is corrupt. And what do you have to say about this view, and what are you doing to change this image?
Yeah, well, that is, like I said entirely, it depends on whom you talk to. Yes, to say police is corrupt, that is what they say around. But again, I want somebody to tell me when a police officer has been arranged for in a corruption court. It has never happened. So for us, like I said, we have our discipline regulation. That regulation is clear. We have 47 rules in that particular document, and it captures improper practice, corrupt practices. So when once we have the evidence that this person is involved in corrupt practices, we take the appropriate action as stipulated in the document, in the regulation. So I will encourage members of the public not to just continue to make pronouncements about corruption, but for them to come forward with concrete evidence that somebody, this Mr. X, has been involved in corrupt practice and there's evidence, then we can deal, but we cannot deal on basic assumptions or allegations. That's what we will appeal to the public to do. That's the cry. Police are corrupt. But like I said, no policeman has been arranged in the corruption court ever since the anti-corruption was established.
And changing that perception, what would be a message of hope to the public?
Well, I want the public to continue to trust the organization. You know, the police force is a big force. It's over 16,000 people, and all of us are coming from different backgrounds. So what I will say to the public is for them to help us to weed out those who are involved in corrupt practices, so that we can change the image of the organization as a force for good.
First of all, let me start by congratulating you, IG, for your 1 year in office.
Thank you very much.
And I believe today, Wednesday, marked your 1 year in office. And as the Inspector General of Police is saying, how has it been throughout this whole year?
Well, it has been rocky for me. My tenure started a little rough. I had a rough ride in August of last year, but after that, I used that moment to put myself together and to put the force together, and we've been able to change the dynamics of things around our core functions. We've changed that one considerably. It has been fine. I'm thankful after 1 year. At the end of my 1 year in office, the police is receiving accolades from across the country and internationally for professional service delivery. So that is good for me also, although it started a little rough.
Your 1 year in office exactly meets with the 2023 general elections in Sierra Leone, and as a result, we've seen political parties come into your office to congratulate you for giving them the opportunity to work as a team. How would you relate to that?
Well, for us, it's a pat on our back. The fact that we are able to deliver this election, which has been rated as the most peaceful in the past couple of elections. When you compare this one to the previous 4 or 5 elections, this one has been rated as the most peaceful. So for us, we feel good about it. It means we didn't waste our time to train and prepare for it. It came out well. So we are very happy as a force that we are being commended. We've received accolades from across the country and across the world also.
So what is your message of hope to the members of the public who perceive Sierra Leone police as the most corrupt institution in the country?
Well, my message to them is for them to look at us as human beings. They say to err is human and to forgive is divine. For us, we've taken note of those reports. That is why when we were crafting our discipline regulation, we took cognizance of all of that one. For us, it's there. We are clear on that one. We don't want to continue to live on those allegations. We want people to come forward with concrete evidence, to come and say, yes, on today's date, or today at PZ, I was there, I saw this officer, I collected a bribe from a taxi driver, from a bike rider, or from a keke rider. Then you see what action we can take. We have taken drastic actions with our personnel. It's not only about traffic, it's about even investigators. When those things come to our attention, we take the appropriate action. We don't have any secret cow in the organization.
Sir, earlier you did mention some of the challenges the police force is going through. So where do you think you should start in solving those challenges?
Well, we are looking at them. Like I said, those issues would have to do with members of the public. We are revamping the community policing strategy, which was introduced during the restructuring process by the British. We are going to make sure we activate the local policing partnership boards across the country in all 36 divisions. That will bring us closer to the communities. So when we do that, we'll start to work together with the community for them to change their perception. In the area of cyber, social media abuse or misuse, that one too, we have taken some steps. Like I said, we have the best cyber investigation unit in Africa after South Africa. That one is doing tremendously well, extremely well, and we have been able, with the officers in that unit, we've been able to apprehend several people who are actually abusing the cyberspace, and those cases have been charged to court. They are presently either standing trial or they have been jailed. They are languishing in prisons. So that's a clear message that yes, we are there, we are up to it. We can reach out to anybody who thinks they can just design one ugly message and put it in social media.
So in 2021, there were a lot of promotions within the rank and file of the Sierra Leone police. Do we hope to see more promotions?
Yes, definitely promotions will be, officers will be promoted. Definitely, because it is like we want to maintain the structure, the upward growth. We want to maintain that one. You cannot keep people in one rank for too long. They become bored, they become disgruntled. So that's why we are promoting. 2021, we promoted a number of officers. Some stayed, they couldn't get it, but we only say not everybody can be promoted at the same time. So we'll have to wait, and we encourage those who were promoted to work hard, and even those who were not promoted not to become a little, disconcerted, but for them to continue to do what is best for them, what is best for the job, and expect that at any time from now they will have their own share of their efforts, their labor.
So what would you say to those who will not be fortunate to be promoted this year, and those who will be fortunate to be promoted?
It's just to continue working hard. Each time we are promoting, we have the criteria. If you meet the criteria, then you are promoted. But if you are not promoted, it's a big force. It's a force of over 16,000, so we cannot promote everybody at the same time. So that's why we do it piecemeal. We do it piecemeal so that we make sure everybody has the opportunity to be promoted to move to another rank, so that you can enjoy your stay in the job. If you stay in one place for too long, you get bored, you get tired, you lose interest in the job. That is what causes people to go look for other jobs in some other departments.
You recently won a private civil suit against the Radio Democracy, FM 98.1 FM. So, how was it like?
Well, when the ruling was read out in the court, I felt good, because for me, I was testing the arm of the law, how far the law can go. I had options. I had the option to do a criminal, but luckily the criminal libel law has been expunged. But so some people are losing sight of the fact that there are other sections of law which the other actions can be instituted. For me, that particular ruling is a wake-up call for those in the media, for them to know that yes, they can be challenged too. Because you are sitting behind the mic doesn't give you the sole autonomy to just damage people's reputation and you think you can walk with it free. No, I chose to challenge this one because I want to let them know that yes, they too, they have to be regulated. They can be regulated. So I'm happy I won that case, and I'm sure it's going to serve as a wake-up call for all of those who are in that profession to keep their behavior within what is allowed by law, within tolerable limits. That's the pride I have.
Is there going to be any bridge of communication between the Sierra Leone police and Radio Democracy?
No, there's not going to be any of such because we are still there. Even as I'm talking, even as we are in court, my media people will go there to take part in programs, except if they want to disconnect us. But if they choose to behave like that, then it's fine for us also. But at least we have made a point. We have made a point that you cannot just go and take advantage because you are sitting in a radio station. And one of the principles in journalism is accuracy, check and cross-check. So if you skip that one, then you have to face the wrath of whatever happens to you.
So before we go, there is this issue of the intake of drug, a new drug that is called Kush, and it's obvious that it's something that is ravaging the lives of young people in the country. What are the steps of the Sierra Leone police?
Well, the steps are policing these days is intelligence-led. We have our intelligence operatives out there. We are looking for outlets where this Kush is sold, and each time we identify one, we raid and we destroy. That's what we are doing. But drugs, they are becoming a serious issue in this. It's not only in this country, in several other countries. But again, we trust the people, the parents. We trust those who have those drug cartels established in their homes, in their communities, for them to come forward with the information about locations of drug cartels that we can destroy. We are doing lots of raids. We are brushing drug farms. We are charging people to court, and people are being jailed for getting involved in the issue of transporting or selling drugs. So we are taking our own steps. We are working hard to combat the abuse of drugs in the country. But again, like I said, we need to be supported by members of the public. We need to be given the information about drugs and where we can find them.
So what are your expectations for the upcoming years?
Well, I expect a bright future, not only for the Sierra Leone police, but for Sierra Leone as a whole, because the country is on a very good trajectory. So what I would encourage everybody to do is to support whatever effort that has to do with developing the landscape, Sierra Leone, where we live. We don't have any other country. We have only one Sierra Leone. I don't see myself at this age running away out of Sierra Leone to go to any other country. No, I can, but I will not go. I rather prefer to stay and die within the country. I want to make my own contribution. I don't want posterity to judge me, say, where were you when this thing happened? So let us support the country. Let us look for a brighter future. Always be optimistic. Don't ever think that all is lost. All is not lost.
People see the IG as someone that doesn't laugh or doesn't smile. Is what it says.
No, well, interestingly, I'm not a comedian. I'm a law enforcement officer. So comedians are laughing up and about, but me, I'm law enforcement. But that's my nature. Naturally, I'm a very quiet man. But I thank God. I look for people to help me to loosen up. But I do smile. I do laugh. I do go to social functions. But that's what people feel. I will not take myself to be everywhere laughing, just like some street boy or some comedian. I'm not a comedian. I'm a police officer.
Thank you very much for talking to the media.
Most welcome.